Welcome to Grow My Etsy Shop podcast, the drips of knowledge you need to start growing. Hey, welcome. So last week we discussed, I went through Etsy, I bought 10 things and kind of was sharing some of my experiences as a shopper, which is it's a funny exercise because as much time as I spend on Etsy, as much time as I spend with Etsy shops, as much time as I spend just enthralled in this world, and I've bought, usually a couple times a year I buy things off of Etsy, but I hadn't done it in this particular light. What kind of kicked this off is that I was at a farmer's market and was noticing things that people did really well and noticing things that people didn't do well. And I thought, I've never really, and I do this at Barnes & Noble too. I walk through Barnes & Noble and I look at book titles. I'm like, what grabs my attention? Why'd that work? What color schemes work? What font work? Placement, the whole thing. I'm like, what is it that attracts me to this particular book? It just keeps me entertained. So I just have never really done it from an Etsy standpoint, and so I thought, well, let's do it. So I started to go through it, and I shared with you one of them. This was in the podcast last week. Just like naturally, I was finding myself unsatisfied with my questions being answered, and I found that I would click on a listing and quickly go to see, did anyone else post any pictures of this product outside of this shop? Because I was losing trust in the shops themselves and was just trying to say, is anyone else out there have product pictures that I can see that's not taken by them? And found myself trusting and believing shops more when they had products of this picture pictures of their product. I actually met with someone this week, and she was saying that her review rate is very low. Now, she's a digital product, and so those are historically low. But she was saying, I want to increase this. And it's funny because she had on her listing, picture 9 or something like that. It was like, hey, become a VIP. And when you became a VIP, you got 50% off of that order. So this is a pretty big deal. If I'm going to make a purchase and suddenly I learn, hey, I can join your email list and get 50% off the purchase I'm going to make, why would I not join this list? So hers was, I have exclusive free prints and what was the other one I just said? 50% off. She was saying it's not that high. I don't get that many people. She's had, I think, she has more than 100 people on her list. And she started in November, so that kind of gives you a gauge of where she's at. She probably has 10,000 sales to her store, though, so that gives you more of a gauge of where she's at. But those sales kind of start, anyway, that you can just hear that and kind of go, it's kind of a low number. So as I was going through her shop, I took a note. That's kind of a low number. And then as we were kind of discussing at the end, I said to her, let's switch this. Because again, this comes back to the book title. Why is it that I can walk by a book and have no interest in it, but some other book has my interest in it? It's because the book title speaks to me. So if we go to this principle and we look at this picture and we say, this become a VIP doesn't speak to me. I don't want to become a VIP. I have no interest in joining your email list. This continuation of you being able to market to me is not what I want right now. I want the product. I want to buy this product. This is what I'm interested in. This is why I'm on picture 9 of your 10 pictures you have of this product. So I said, let's switch the way we say this. And a couple things that I felt like were going to be great was, instead of becoming a VIP, let's have it say, get 50% off this order. Go to this URL or scan this QR to instantly get 50% off this order plus 4 additional. So she had exclusive free prints. I said, how many? She said, well, there's 4. Sorry, I just hit my pen on the table. She said, there's 4. I said, then tell them that. 4 additional free prints. Show them the prints right there. They can see where this is at. 50% off, 4 additional prints. Then you say, wow, that's a great offer. I'm interested in this offer. How do I participate in this offer? Oh, you become a VIP. That's how you do it. It's free. Just sign this right here and you're done. instead of become a VIP. Now convince me why I need to become a VIP. Do you feel the difference in that? We had this conversation yesterday, so no data on that whatsoever, but I promise it's going to do better. So this kind of creates a bridge for where I want this conversation to go, which is, Jared, what did you learn top of funnel there? Well, there were some things that I picked up, some things that popped, and none of it's going to be crazy for anyone. They're not like, oh my gosh, Jared, that was so revelatory what you shared with us. It's like, no, obviously colors caught my attention, good pictures caught my attention, a care for the product caught my attention. I liked when I was being sold or taught about the product instead of shown the product. All those kind of things was super helpful. Getting my questions to be answered. I found that I left when I had questions on the table. That was my biggest thing. I just didn't trust the process. So unless something was very affordable and I was like, you know what, it's not that big of a deal if it screws me over, I'm okay to buy it. But when I started getting up into that a little bit more range, I was way more intimidated to make a purchase and pull the trigger. The other thing I found myself doing relatively quickly is I started to look at shipping fast. So I would get in there and be like, yeah, good, I like this price, but I got to see how much you're charging for shipping. And I was going down to shipping, I was going down to customer pictures. That was just my overall kind of take. And I'm still kind of processing that as I am searching on Etsy and whatnot, whether that's just a Jared experience versus what others are feeling. But I'm processing those things. I shared a little bit about that last week. So this week I want to share something which is the receiving of the products. So I have received all 10 products at this point. And Etsy is currently in the process of violating me to leave reviews. So bad though. Gosh, I think honestly at this point, if they said, Jared, we're going to give you this button, you can hit it and you could teleport into Etsy's office and you can yell out a sentence before you're teleported out, I would say, fix your review requests. Boo, off I would go. Now, I bought 10 products, and so, the requests I'm getting are quite heavy, but they hound you, and it's done so poorly. It's like, you still have one product to leave a review. Leave a review. Nothing is, you can hear my tone and how I speak in this. No one is going to do, people are the most selfish online. Second, driving. Online, you don't think about other people at all. You are just online. It's why social media can be as difficult as it can be through comment sections. It's why someone can flip you off in a car, but wouldn't flip you off in real life. It wouldn't flip you off standing right in front of you. The online behavior that we have, if something takes too long, if we don't like it, we are gone. If we're irritated, it doesn't matter. We have no patience for anything whatsoever. Online behavior is the worst version of a human you're going to get. So, with this in mind, when Etsy leaves me requests to leave a review like it's my job, Jared, you have 4 products you need to review for. Dude, what? How much you paying me? I don't work here. Why are you I'm just on the platform and you're hounding me and my app is notifying me. Hey, you got to do this thing. We got to do this thing. Like it's my job. Completely bad on their part. I don't know if you are the person who's in charge of Etsy's reviews listening to this podcast. This is what you need to think about. Why would someone want to leave a review for this product? I believe if Etsy would ask questions, it would work a lot better. If it pinged and was like, hey, we have 3 questions we want to ask about this product you received. Is now a good time? Or it will take 15 seconds. Something that makes, if you're going to ask, that's a good way to do it. Because they're just like, yeah, what do you need? I know what I'm opting in for. So let's go. And you say, hey, did it show up on time? Was it what you expected and whatever it is? And then at the end, you just have a little thing that's like, hey, have anything bonus to say or pictures to add? That'd be great. What Etsy should do, plus everyone's life, is give a 25-cent credit for every picture left. And you can leave up to 4 pictures, 3 pictures, 2 pictures, 1 picture for every product you buy. So that way it encourages people to leave pictures on the platform because, like I said, it is what I believe will help things sell the best. Etsy, if you're listening, make those changes. So because Etsy's so bad at doing what they're doing, like I said, there was nothing, it is a book title that doesn't grab anyone's attention. It's a good way to look at it. So it's really falling blank. it falls on you to be the person who, if you want to see an increase in your reviews, to do it. This is where I would start. And this is from my buying 10 products data. I feel like I owe no one reviews when they fulfill my order. Why on earth does someone get 5-star reviews when I handed them my hard-earned cash in exchange for something that a lot of times I feel like I'm kind of taking a risk when I'm doing it? I then get that item in the window they were going to say it was going to come, in the shape that they said it was going to come in. What makes me say, wow, I guessed properly that this product was this. And it's great. It's exactly what I wanted. And what did I do to get this product? I paid them for it. That's what I did. And then they fulfilled their end. So this is a contract. It's over. It's a transactional contract that is over. So you've heard me share this before. You don't go to a McDonald's, go through the drive-thru, get your Big Mac. Yes, Big Mac. I couldn't remember if it was Big Mac or Whopper. Big Mac. And then drive out of the drive-thru and think, I'm going to take my phone out and give them 5 stars. Because this Big Mac is exactly what I imagined. And the price that I paid was, no. You're just like, no, this was a transactional relationship that we had. They told me they were going to do something, and they did it. So, for those sitting at home, here is what I recommend. If you want to be remembered, and let me actually rephrase this. Hey, Etsy shops, when you earn someone the right for them to trust you, when you earn that trust and they pay you money, you have done something that a lot of Etsy shops can't do, which is convince someone to buy from them. You did it. And that overcoming that hump is a difficult thing to do. So congratulations. I can't tell you the amount of messages that I've received from people saying, I don't know how to get my first sale. I don't know how to get my first sale. I don't know how to get my first sale. So if you're sitting here and you go, no, I have sales. I've done it. You should be proud of yourself. Now let me ask you something. Do you want that person who you gave the product to be really excited to get your product? Do you want them to do you want it to make their day? Do you want it to be something that they really appreciate? Do you want it to be something that they remember? Do you want it to be something that they would tell their friends about? Do you want it to be something they would come back and buy again? Do you hear all these things? You should be saying yes, 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 yes. Those are all the things that I want. None of those things take place unless you make a really great product that is valued correctly with the price that you're presenting. You create unique or personalized products is another great way to be able to have that personalization feel, come back, I trust this person, whatever it may be. Good way to do it. If you're not either of those, then you need to provide more value with your product. You need to have a way that wins them over, that makes them say, wow, that was nice. Didn't see this coming. This was great. What a surprise. Wow, this is more than I anticipated. And if you leave someone, again, let's go back to our McDonald's scenario here. I drive through, person greets me. How are you? I hope you're having a great day, whatever. And I think, wow, that was really nice of them. I show up to go to the counter and I say, I get my Big Mac. I go into get my Big Mac, open up my Big Mac, and they put a hash brown in there. I didn't pay for this hash brown. I didn't ask for this hash brown, but there's a hash brown in what I'm doing. Realistically, because it's McDonald's, I'd be like, suckers, you dropped a hash brown on accident. And then I'd throw that on my Big Mac and chow it down. But you get what I'm saying here. If it was done, let's just say I kind of had a personal relationship with that person and we talked or whatever, and she kind of said to me, hey, I put a hash brown in there for you. Like, yeah. Do I feel loyalty to that store more than any other McDonald's on the planet? Yes, I would feel more loyalty to that store. Would I remember that for a while? Yes. Would I remember the person? She would fade over time or they would fade over time. But yeah, for a while I would remember the face of the individual who did that. I would appreciate that. Would it, now you go back, would it make my day better? Yes. Would it have excited me? Yes. Would it be something that I would talk about with other people? Yes. Would it make me likely to come back? Yes. All the things we talked about in the beginning of like, do you want these things? Was like, yes, 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 I do. The hash brown can do it. I'll share a brief story with you. I was at this last weekend. My son, no joke, traded some chump at the playground or whatever for a really valuable Pokemon card. So he comes home, he's like, Dad, this Pokemon card's worth hundreds of dollars. I just traded for it. I'm stoked. I want to go to the card shop and I want to sell this thing, which was big news for me because usually these kids keep these things in there. They're like, oh, this card's worth so much money. And you're like, oh, cool, go sell it. And they're like, no. Just want to keep it in a notebook and look at it once a week. You know, I'm like, so when he's like, I want to sell this thing, I was like, great, I'll take you to the card shop. Took him to the card shop. Pinocchio behind the thing takes this thing out, whoop, 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 looks at it. He's like, dude, this thing's worth some money. And I was like sitting in the back, you know, letting my son's 13, letting him do his thing. When I hear this thing's worth some money, I'm like, okay, you know, Jared has entered the chat. I'm like, wait, what kind of money are we talking here? He's like, this thing's probably worth $500. I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? He says, in the store, we can only offer you $350 for it. But if you go to this convention, which happens to be in town in Raleigh here, you go down to this thing, there's a Pokemon thing here. Those dorks down there will buy the stuff for their collection. So you should go to them. So my son's like, let's bounce. So I said to my son, funny enough, it was like $15 again. I'm like, dog, you have to pay for it. He's like, deal. So we go down there. We get into the thing. Now I have my 2 other sons with me and my daughter, which isn't even all my kids. Crazy. And my son's off hustling, doing his stuff. And my third son, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, third son. Gosh, you know, it's funny. I watched the freaking Sing. Is that show with the pig that has like the 400 kids? And I'm like, relatable. Anyway, my third son is like going through all the feels because my other son is freaking Duck McDuckling swimming in his cash. And the minute he knew that card was worth money, he became Donald Trump. He was like, I'm not even kidding. We were driving there, and I said to him, "Hey, his name's Luke." I'm like, "Luke, you gotta put your seatbelt on because the thing was like ding, 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 ding." He's like, "Dad, if we crash, I'll pay for my own insurance." Okay, bro. I think he's getting gold bars from this thing. So he's selling this thing. My middle son going through the fields because he's like, "Oh my gosh, my brother's gonna make $500 and I don't even have a Pokemon card that's worth." But my son like knows Pokemon cards really well, like studies them, he like looks them up and stuff like that. So he was able to identify that this card was worth a lot of money, and where my middle son only has like 6 Pokemon cards. So, but he's just going through the fields. While he's going through the fields, someone in the booths notices my son crying and says, "Hey, let me give you something." And he gives him a Pokemon pack, which is there a nicer thing on the planet Earth than to do that? Because these things are like $7, and which if you're not into Pokemon, could you believe they're $7? Good heavens! But I was just floored because I couldn't fathom that someone was doing this for this child. So he gives it to my son, and you know his tears dried up real quick, but then he starts to say to me, "I feel weird," and I said, "Me too." Yeah, I said that was super, super nice of this guy. So I said to Noah, who's my third son, why don't you do some things to earn it? Because, he gave it to you, that's great, but you feel weird about it. So do I. You cried and you got a Pokemon pack? This is weird. So it's like he kind of agreed, like, yeah, that's cool. So then he kind of ran off, and then I went to this dude, and this dude was totally on the spectrum. So conversation was a little off, but I just wanted to say to him, like, you are a good person for doing what you did, and I really, really appreciate it. And he was like, no. And then I was like, let me pay. And he was like, no. So my son cashes out $450 for his Pokemon card. He comes skipping over like he's Richie Rich or whatever. And he's like, hey, I'm going to invest some of this cash I just got into the gamble of buying these bigger packs and seeing if I can pull anything. Because if I pull anything here, I can sell it instantly to all these boots that are here. And so I'm like, dog, your money, do whatever you want. He's like, great, I'm going to go buy this pack. So I hit him on the shoulder. I'm like, hey, can you actually buy it from that guy? That guy over there. He wasn't there during the whole exchange. So he's like, yeah, whatever. So he goes over there, drops $55 on this thing. And so now I've like checked my conscience of like, okay, I feel good. I feel like this was taken care of. Like, we're good here. That feeling, this was kind of a long story, and I appreciate you sitting through it if you're still listening. That feeling of me kind of feeling like, gosh, this was super nice of him and like I owe him something is exactly what I'm talking about. You want people to feel like they didn't have to do that, but they did. And now I feel like I owe them something. I don't feel like I owe anyone anything. So I haven't done, why would I take time out of my day, my selfish behavior of online behavior? Why would I go leave reviews for people? I don't need to. But if I felt like I needed to, that would change things. I didn't need to spend $55 with that Pokemon dude. But then I did. I would have never done it. So he handed me a $7 pack. I gave him $55 worth of Pokemon cards. Or you get what I'm trying to say here. What can we do on our Etsy shops that creates that effect? Here's where I would start. If it is humanly possible, if you're getting 900 orders a day, just tell me to shut up. If you're getting a handful of orders, a basic touch point can be very helpful. A message that just says, hey, here are some frequently asked questions we typically get on these things. Just want to make sure if you have any additional questions, let me know. A small touch point. Hey, saw this order came in. Super excited. I'm going to start making this for you. I'll let you know. Etsy will let you know when we ship it. That's it. Something like that where they say, thanks. Appreciate it. You open up a thread for conversation. Now, I know what everyone's thinking because I'm in the same boat. Do I want people DMing me all the time? No. Do I want to have Etsy shop conversations just like, excuse me, where's my package? Where's my package? And me sitting at my computer figuring this out? No, I don't. But what if for a short period of time, I dedicated myself to this to increase my review rate to help increase what I'm doing? I think this is a great strategy. Again, this isn't a great strategy if you're selling lots of stuff and you're busy and you're like, gosh, I don't have any time. Not a great strategy. But if you open up these conversations and are able to go across this, you can review or increase your review rate. You can get people to feel the touch point of something. Again, of the 10 shops I bought from, if one of them does this process, do I remember that person? Yes. Do I have an open thread with that person? Yes. Am I more likely to feel like I owe someone something when they get a message that says, hey, you want to leave a review for this person? I do. I remember that person at McDonald's who gave me the hash brown. I remember the person who was extra kind to me. If we let people go through the automations of Etsy and we leave it there, we're a transactional relationship. Now, Jared, I don't want to do this, or I have too many orders. What am I supposed to do? Well, if you're Duckling McDuck, like my son Luke now, then it's your job to remember the platform that you're on, which is Etsy. It can be really tempting, and it's the right move to start to say, how do I systematize better what I'm doing? How do I move myself from the day-to-day? How do I decrease my costs so that I can do this at volume? All correct ways of thinking. I would just place a pin in how do I increase the value of what I'm doing as one of the other things you put in there. How do I increase I don't even care if it's perceived value. Meaning, does a sticker really increase the value of your product? No, but it increases the perceived value of your product. Does that make sense? A great way to be able to do this is to use, I've shared this before, you have their 100% attention when they are opening your package. There is nothing else taken away from the experience. They are locked in to opening this package, which means if you're a digital product, it's the same thing. Like when they're opening your digital product, like you have their attention. It's there. That is your time to bring value to them. So instead of leave me a 5-star review on Etsy, you can, and you can go as, I don't want to say as deep as, but like you can go the direction, there's the word. You can go the direction of like even having a picture of you and your workshop, and saying, hey, really appreciate you. This is where I started. This is where we are today. And it's from people like you who support small. Now, do you hear how I'm talking? I'm not saying, thanks so much for your order. I'm saying it's people like you that have helped move and change my life. Because what are we doing here? We're saying you, the purchase you made today, brought this to me, or to us if you have multiple people. And I appreciate you. If it wasn't for you and the purchase you made and the decision to go with us and your love for this type of product, or you being this type of person, if it wasn't for you, this wouldn't be an option. So thank you. Tuesday night, in the kitchen, washing dishes. Your wife comes home, your husband comes home and says, hey, thank you for doing this. Really means a lot. Helps keep everything tidy and clean. It's wonderful. Thank you. Are you mad you're washing dishes? No. So you buy something and someone says, hey, really appreciate this. Look what you're doing by making this purchase. Thank you. Hey-o, you're on to something. This is how you win people over. So you can include bonuses, and I think this is a way better strategy, is to be like, hey, you bought this from me, but I threw in on something a little extra. I gave you this thing. I have this additional thing. And that could be from all shapes and sizes, from stickers to additional things to replacement parts to digital products that you include. Hey, I curated this thing. But instead of just being like, here's a list of curated whatever that's going to help you use this product better, I would position it as, thank you so much for what you do. You've shopped small. This has allowed millions of Etsy shops to be able to live more financial freedom or not be chained to their desk or whatever it may be. And as a thank you, I would love to give you this list that I've curated for you. Personalized, grateful, and makes them feel good. And what do you want? If we go back to the beginning, do we want people to have good feelings when they open your product? Do we want people to remember you? Like, this checks the boxes that's there. So instead of making a transactional sale where you say, here's your product, thanks for your money, we're removing the money from it. And we're saying, look, you did something good today. You helped. You made a vision of someone's dream happen. And I've added a little extra because you've done that. When Etsy sends them the review and says, hey, what did you think of this shop? Hurry and leave your review or we're going to fire you. Or however they pitch their crap. It's like super corporate. You could say, something in your mind would, what you're trying to get him is to say, oh yeah, that store, they're nice. They did something good. You exchanged a product. They gave you their hard-earned cash. You gave them a product. That's it. Why do you deserve 5 stars? But if you just shift their mind a bit to make them say, that person made me feel good, it's much easier to get them to wash the dishes. It's much easier to get them to come back to that McDonald's. It's much easier to get them to spend $55 at your booth when there's so many other booths, because you just made someone feel good with a small change of the way you worded something. So, go do it. Till next week.